Hi, it's Kevin from Appland. I know a lot of people out there are planning to bring a significant number of new developers onto their team, and I want to talk a little bit about how we can help those new folks to build their understanding of the code base. And I want to show you a technique that might be useful to you in getting those people oriented to the architecture of your code when they join your team. So this concept is based on an idea that I read online about creating a file called Architecture.md. So here I am in my VS Code editor for the Rails sample app, and I have a file here called Architecture.md, which you can create, and you can direct your new hires to come to this file when they want to learn something, and get oriented around the architecture of your app. So I've broken this down into a few different sections. This is obviously really short. It's just a basic example, but you could add, plenty more material here. And so I've divided this into a couple different sections that I know are relevant for the Rails sample app. Login and session management, and submitting a post. The Rails sample app, if you're not familiar with it, it kind of looks like a tutorial.org. It sort of looks like Twitter. If you go here, then you can say, enter some post, submit your post, and then you can follow other people in this app. So you can find that repo. The original repo here is under M. Hartle Sample App 6th edition, and I have a fork here on GitHub called Land of Apps Sample App 6th edition, and I'm looking at this branch called AppMap-E to E. So come here and check this out if you want to pull down or look at the code that I'm going to show here in this video. So back to Architecture.md. It goes through a few of the different features of the Rails sample app, and in each section, as you can see over here, there's the subject, login a user, then there's a path to a test case that the user might open, and then there's this link here to an AppMap. And so an AppMap, if you're not familiar, I can click it from here or I can click it from here, is a depiction made from a recording. So you actually run the test case, and then you run it with the AppMap agent, and it captures all the code interactions into a JSON file, and then you can view that information here in your editor, in VS Code, or in any of the JetBrains editors. You can get those from the marketplace for the appropriate editor. So I'm looking at the login a user route here, and it says logins performed by sessions controller with or without remembering a cookie. So I can see that information here as well. I can see the login post going through action pack, which is part of the Rails framework, going into sessions controller. It's using bcrypt to check the user password. I can see the SQL here, and then at any point I can drop down and see exactly what function calls are happening in what sequence, and I can see the sort of parent-child relationships as well. If I want to find out what's going on with cookies, I can come over here, cookie. So there's two places in the code where cookies are being set, and I can click this little eyeball. The first one is setting the username, and then the second one is right down here, and it's setting the remember token. So if I want to understand why that's happening, I can click up here to the caller. It will show me that the sessions helper has a remember function. And up here in the sessions controller, if I pop over to the source code and look for remember, I can see that if the remember me checkbox, which is going to be in the user interface, is set, then it will call remember the user, otherwise it will call forget the user. So that's a way that as a new developer who's going to work in a part of the app that's unfamiliar to me, I can I can quickly get an overview of like which code that I need to understand. And so that's probably more efficient than, starting with the full source tree and trying to figure out which code I need to read and which code I need to ignore. The AppMap makes that pretty clear. So for you, as the person who's going to create and maintain this architecture file, this is a quick little thing that I threw together in a few minutes. You can feel free to change how this works if you want to. But what the user is instructed to do when they come and orient themselves is come down here to the terminal and run bundle exec rake appmap architecture. And that's going to generate the app maps that are used by this document. So, app maps are pretty big. They're JSON data. You don't check them into your repo. You want to have the new developer start by getting the app environment set up and running a rake app map architecture. And so let me just dive into what that task actually does. So I've defined, rake app map architecture here. And it's super simple. All it does is just reads the Architecture.md file, scans it for a regular expression, and it's picking out the name of the test files. So the way that the test file name here is in parentheses in the link description, that's significant because it's telling the rake task which test to run in order to get the app map for each entry. So it pulls out the test file names, and then this project is using Minitest. So to run a specific set of test cases in Rails with Minitest, the command is bundle exec Rails test, and then you can list the file paths of the tests that you want to run. And I'm running it with the appmap equals true flag to enable mapping, and I'm also running disable spring, or setting disable spring, because if spring is running without the appmap equals true environment variable, it won't pick up that change and you won't get any app maps. So just runs that as a system command and checks the output. So that's pretty much it. The other, of course, changes to this project is the basic, configuration of AppMap. So I have my AppMap file here, or gem, in the development and test group right up here at the top of my gem file, so that it will load first and observe all these other gems loading so that it can instrument them. And the other setup information that you might want to know is at appland.com. If I go to appland.com/docs, then there's a quick start here for IntelliJ, PyCharm, RubyMine, and VS Code. So the languages, this works with Ruby, Java, and Python. It works with the JetBrains editors, and it works with VS Code. So if you want some further help, or you want to contact us, you can go ahead and go to this, go to appland.com. Down here at the bottom, you'll find a link to our Discord server. If you click that link, you'll drop in there, and we're there to help out. You can also find me on dev.to/kgilpin. I'm pretty active there in blogging, and this little icon up here is a chat, and you can reach me directly that way as well. So I hope this seems interesting and helpful to you, and definitely let me know if you check it out. Again, the code for it is GitHub, Land of Apps, Sample App 6th edition, and the branch is called AppMap E2E. Thanks.